The fact that they not only initiated this, but investigated it and found some concerns enough to move it forward is really, it's a big deal to me. I had gotten an email a couple months ago from the Cobb County investigator who let me know that the investigation was complete, and now they would submit it and give it to the council, who would then take it before the probable cause committee to vote on whether or not there was probable cause. Tomorrow, Thursday, April 16th, the probable cause committee at Georgia Post will review the investigation findings. Their job is to decide whether there's probable cause that misconduct occurred. And if they find probable cause, they will make a recommendation to the full Post Council, right? The full council is scheduled to meet and vote on that matter in June 2026. But let me explain quickly what this process actually means, because I know it can sound confusing and it even sounds like kind of cut and dry, but it's really not. So, Georgia Post is the state agency that certifies and oversees all peace officers in Georgia. When there's a serious complaint about an officer's conduct, they can investigate and recommend sanctions. So while they might tell you that it's not normal for them to take civilian complaints, they can. And they can initiate their own investigations. They don't have to wait for leadership. Matter of fact, I remember when I was talking with the director, he told me that my case was super rare. I was in probably the bottom 1% of things that ever happened. They told me they were never, the primary investigators to anything. So the fact that they not only initiated this, but investigated it and found some concerns enough to move it forward is really, it's a big deal to me. So when there is a serious complaint about an officer and they investigate, they can recommend sanctions, and those sanctions can look like suspension, probation, or in more rare cases, even revocation of the officer's certification, which means he cannot legally practice as a police officer in the state of Georgia. Matter of fact, when he had contacted me, he told me he would look into it and he was going to investigate. But if they decided to take it before the council or anything, that all of that would wait until after adjudication, because they don't like to get intertwined, which I can appreciate, I guess, that that's their policy. But for me, it's like, why would anybody allow somebody to go down the prosecution route and risk having those people prosecuted if you did an investigation and found that that officer was guilty of misconduct? It's about every Georgia resident and every Cherokee County resident knowing that their constitutional rights, particularly the Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. If you're watching this and you've ever felt powerless when you're dealing with law enforcement, just know, if you've ever seen similar issues in your own county, I want you to know that you are not alone. Sharing these stories, following the official processes is how change starts. Educate yourself, your family on your rights during police encounters, and support calls for stronger body camera transparency and that independent oversight across Georgia, everywhere. Talk to your local representatives. If you're in Georgia, I want you to pay attention to your local sheriff's office policies and the Post decisions. If leadership is not capable of standing up and taking accountability for the officers that they hire, we need independent oversight to say this was wrong. Because how many other people is this happening to? It's about every Georgia resident and every Cherokee County resident knowing that their constitutional rights, particularly the Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable searches and seizures,